Last time on Shadow Piece, the thriller bark and every passenger on it reached the giant's home island, Elbaf. However, before entering the island, they first had to open up a gate of titanic size, also called the Titan's Mouth. Absalom, as the stand-in captain of the thriller bark pirates, stepped up and with his new technique, the Maximum Magni Magnum, he opened up the gate and cleared the first challenge. The strength of this attack made 5 bells ring within the gate, and every giant in Elbaf could hear it. As fast as they could, after stopping whatever they were doing beforehand, the giants ran over to the hut belonging to the island's leader, bombarding him with questions and finally calling him by his name, King Odin. King Odin has a dignified aura surrounding him. Like a true leader, he easily calms down his subjects. We don't know if it is him. And first, whoever it is that has come to our island has to pass the second test of the Titan's challenge. Just recently, a pirate visited our island and also got 5 bells to ring. Nothing is confirmed. The atmosphere of excitement gets lowered a bit. All the giants remember how just a week ago a young red-haired pirate came to Elbaf and easily passed the Titan's challenge. Even though he already left, it also left a mark in the people's memories. Who are they waiting for? Well, it most likely isn't Absalom, but our Dark Messiah doesn't even know what kind of uproar he just created. Pyrodine and his crew members gush over how amazing Absalom is for getting 5 bells to make a sound. This is a feat that has only been achieved by a handful of people, and now Absalom has joined this rank. This is just more proof for the giants that Absalom is an incredible person that will shake the world one day. As gigantic as the thriller bark is, even the mystical upwards flowing river isn't making it shake much. This is actually the first time for Absalom, Perona and Sanji to go up a river. After all, normally rivers and mountains only go down, and those three never used the reverse mountain to enter the Grand Line. Absalom and Perona joined Moria in the West Blue, and through some sort of means they brought the island-sized ship to the Florian Triangle. Such a ship won't fit into the reverse mountain's upward stream. Most likely they used some sort of method to travel through the Calm Belt, a dangerous area that not many survive in. Sanji used yet another method to get into the Grand Line, most likely instantly entering the New World. Using Beige's ability and Germa's snails climbing up the Red Line resulted in a travel option that only a very small amount of people can use. Having seen the top of the Red Line is also something only very few people can say of themselves. The acceleration of going up the reverse mountain with a small ship for the very first time got lost by them being part of big groups right from the start, but it is not necessarily an experience you need to have to get stronger. The youngest two on the ship, Perona and Sanji, joined the people at the front of the thriller bark. For them, the upwards flowing water is unique. For the new giant warrior pirates, on the other hand, it is an occurrence they see every time they return home. It takes about half an hour to go up the river to Elbaf, enough time for Hydrodine to explain the third and last test of the Titan's challenge. Listen, as we giants are a warrior tribe, we only let true brave warriors into our home. To begin with, reaching this far into the New World is already hard enough. But our ancestors apparently thought that Elbaf had to have a 3-part entrance test. Moria interrupts the giant. In all of the previous conversations, he just talked about 2 tests. So there is a slight confusion on where the third one suddenly appeared from. Only a quick apology gets uttered before the member of the Fleet of Death continues explaining. I only mentioned 2 tests because the actual second test is completely insignificant for you. Normally crews have much smaller ships, so going up an even longer version of this so-called reverse mountain is a challenge people have to pass. However, we are casually talking while this challenge is ongoing, so it is not that important to us. Maria lets out a slight laugh. You are right, this is not much of a challenge for a masterwork like my thriller bark. While Maria is enjoying the situation, Absalom is getting a bit nervous. He plans on taking on the next test as well. The title of Brave Warrior of the Sea isn't really something he needs, but he wants to improve even more. As the captain of the thriller bark pirates, he can't stand being lower than Kid and Law. It is clear to him that without Moria's zombies, the world government doesn't see them as much of a threat. His bounty being over 2 billion berries is at least a small reward, and yet he doesn't like seeing his friends, Moria's work, be assessed as something weaker than some rookies. Unconsciously, he lets out a small growl, which earns him a weird look from Perona. Has her uncle lost it completely now? His lion parts have affected his entire body, so a few growls are to be expected. Before another interruption takes place, Hyrodin resumes to talk. So with the first 2 tests behind us, there's only the last one, and this has to be the hardest of them all. Instead of just requiring 1 feat of power or a powerful ship, this one is a duel against one of the strongest warriors of Elbaf. We have a group of people called the Einherja. They are our strongest army, and every day another member is tasked with staying at the location for the 3rd test. Today it is Ulr, a man I can only dream of defeating. But for you, the Dark Messiah, it might be possible. A big task got thrown at him, but Absalom is ready to face this challenge. It does make him slightly anxious that even Hyrodin, who looks up so much to Absalom, says it might be possible, instead of saying it's an easy fight. Once this is over, he has already proven himself stronger than most of the giants in Elbaf. Well, only if he is victorious. With every second, they are coming closer to the arena for the 3rd challenge. And with arena, I mean a lake. Just like everything else in Elbaf, this is a giant lake. Even the Thriller Bark, which is the size of an island, only fills up 1/10 of it. More deep breaths are needed. Absalom is preparing to go onto the island, but Rhodes stops him from jumping towards the safe ground. Slowly the ship is getting closer, but the giant navigator points towards the north of the lake. Even with his normal eyesight, it is possible to make out that the giant is standing in that direction. This warrior stands at exactly 20.96 meters, pretty average for his race, however size isn't everything. In his hand he wields a weapon, and before Absalom knows it, the battle has already begun. If it wasn't for Rhodes pointing it out, the first attack probably would have hit him already. A loud bang can be heard from the giant, casually breaking through the sound barrier. An arrow flashes towards the Dark Messiah. All he can do is adjust his position ever so slightly to dodge, and the ranged weapon flies by just centimeters next to him. The hair on his arms and legs is standing up, signifying that his body has entered combat mode. So my opponent is a ranged fighter. Why didn't you tell me that, Hyrodin? It would have most certainly been useful. A slight sass can be felt in his words. Arrows continue to get shot at Absalom. The bombardment of balls seems to have no end. The captain of the new giant warrior pirates can only bring out a "well, about that," before a lion jumps off the Thriller Bark and starts sprinting towards his combat partner. While it may be a long distance, for our speedster it only takes just a minute. During this run, he has to remain on guard the entire time. After jumping off the ship and showing his speed for the first time, there was a small moment of peace. Having such an incredible top speed was a surprise for the giant hunter Ulr. It actually took him a second to spot the dashing lion. However, once done, the arrow fire resumes. Speed alone is not enough to evade such accurate attacks. Zigzagging around, sliding, jumping, Absalom has to go through the full routine to just stay on his feet, and yet he still gets scraped by a few of them. Using the awaken ability of his fruit to turn into nothing is very exhausting. Having to rely on it before even getting to his opponent would be the worst case scenario. Other giants can be seen walking up the hill to the lake. The event of hearing 5 bells has them interested, so quite a few spectators come to enjoy the spectacle. He made it. With a few scratches on his arm and face, Absalom made it. Now he is standing in front of the hunter, the member of the Einherja, Ulr. All the Dark Messiah has to say is, "Nice to meet you. I hope a warrior tribe like Elbaf also has a few good doctors, because you will need them after I am done with you." To be continued. This is the end of today's episode of Shadow Peace. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to the 3rd test of the Titans Challenge, because we are in for a big battle. But all that's left for me to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. This has been Pyro Prima. We will see each other again next video. Bye!